Hello everybody, welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube and Twitch channels. We're here for Wednesday's coffee stream and I hope you guys are having a good middle of the week. I am like ridiculously tired today, so I'm sorry if I'm like kind of look weird and low energy and stuff because I don't really even know why I'm this tired. I just am. So, here we are, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna push through this and not try not to look like a zombie. So please bear with me as I sit here and drink my coffee and try not to look like I'm passing out. Be right back. Don't do anything cool till you get back. Okay, I'll just do the intro then until you get back. Don't worry, Duck Dog. So we've got a bunch of things going on today. I've got some news, I've got some videos, and I've got the Ontario provincial budget. I wanted to show you guys how things are done in my province. And I also kind of wanted to showcase the difference between Ontario conservatives and federal conservatives. So I've got that we're gonna finish off the stream with. But, as I said, before that, we've got some news articles and we've got some videos to go over. We've got a bunch of crazy, I think Driving Ape should do the bridge conspiracy theories. I think he should do a video on those or a stream. So I won't go over those, but holy shit, I'm trying not to yawn. That's why I'm making faces. I'm trying not to yawn. It's funny. I'm like, yeah. I don't even know why I'm this tired. Like, my sleep tracker says I slept okay. So, like, this shouldn't even be a thing. I really don't understand. But hey, let's push through it. Let's start with our news. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with our news. And we're gonna save our political stuff for near the end of the stream. So we're going to take a look at our first story. I think I know how we're going to do this. I think I've got it organized in a specific way now. We're good. We are cracking along. Unless I can... stop making my stupid... what's it called? Face crack. Because this is annoying. Turn on Do Not Disturb.
Okay, I turned Do Not Disturb on.
I need to redo my schedule, my focus schedule. Because it doesn't put me on Do Not Disturb on the right time. Okay. So, we're going to switch over here to the live scene. So apparently, the very first human Neuralink patient stayed up and played a weird game all night. That's what he used his Neuralink for. This is according to IGN. So we're going to take a look at this article if I can ever get to the contents of the article. Come on. Come on. Okay. First human patient to receive Neuralink brain implant used it to stay up all night playing Civilization 6. It was worth it. I think it's the best way to put it. It was awesome. Okay. How expensive was that? Like, seriously, how expensive was this implant? The first human recipient of a Neuralink brain implant has shared the new details on his recovery and his experience on living with the experimental assistive tech, which has allowed him a greater level of freedom and autonomy, including the ability to pull an all-nighter playing Civilization 6. Sid Meier's Civilization 6. Why would that be something that you'd be good? Like, why would Neuralink help you pull an all-nighter? What's it supposed to do? Neuralink co-founder Elon Musk took to X/Twitter in January to reveal that the company had implanted its first brain-computer interface in the head of a human patient who was recovering well following the surgery. The billionaire also hinted at the time that the implant was functioning well and had detected a quote promising neuron spike. Okay. In a subsequent February update, Musk commented that the unnamed patient had seemingly made a full recovery and was even able to use the implant to manipulate a computer cursor with thought alone. Weird. The dude's paralyzed, so I don't think he has much going on. I wonder if it was going to mention that in the article, Duck Dog. Finally, on March 20th, Neuralink posted its own update to X in the form of a 9-minute live stream in which 29-year-old implant recipient Noland Arbo used the technology to play a digital version of chess while discussing how the experimental aid has changed his life. It was like using the force on the cursor, and I could get it to move wherever I wanted. Just stare somewhere at the screen and it would move where I wanted it to, which is such a wild experience, explained Arbaugh. The 29-year-old complete quadriplegic shared that he had lost sensation and suffered paralysis from below the shoulders after sustaining a spinal injury during a diving accident 8 years ago, and had felt compelled to volunteer for the trial out of an urge to be part of something that he felt could change the world. Well, there you go. It did mention it. It did mention the fact that he's paralyzed. Throughout the live stream, Arbaugh could be seen using the Neuralink brain-computer interface, BCI, to control an on-screen cursor to play a game of digital chess and pause music that had been playing in the background. Arbaugh also revealed that the implant had given him the freedom to pull an all-nighter playing a strategy game, Sid Meier's Civilization 6, something that he could not have done on his own before the surgery. He probably wouldn't have had the energy to do it. I wonder how much energy this shit gives you. And that's the thing, because People always ask me, like, would you get Neuralink because it would help you see? No, it wouldn't, because you'd need to see what you're looking at in order to engage your visual cortex to like know what you're staring at, so that you could manipulate whatever, like the cursor or whatever that you were staring at. One of the first times you all gave me complete control over this Neuralink tech, I actually stayed up until like 6 a.m. playing Civilization 6, said Arbaugh, and Neuralink scientist Liz Chapman. It was worth it. I think it's the best way to put it. It was awesome. Arbaugh explained that he had largely given up on playing Civilization 6 prior to having surgery, as he needed complete help from a friend in order to play, and the time-intensive nature of the game made prolonged game sessions untenable. So it was unfeasible for me to play a full game or event or anything, explained Arbaugh. Now I can literally just lie in bed and play to my heart's content. Honestly, the biggest restriction at this point was having to wait for the implant to charge once I had used all of it. Wait, it still has to charge? It doesn't go off your brain impulses? That's kind of gay. Your brain implant still has to charge? What the fuck? It's because it's still like, it's actually a computer interface, I guess. It's not. That's crazy. The 29-year-old also revealed in a subsequent Neuralink presentation posted to X that the implant had allowed him to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe using the neurosignals decoded with the BCI tech. Playing Mario Kart and coming in second repeatedly blew my mind. I didn't think that would be possible. Like a week into using it, that was freaking wild. Even though my dad and my buddy wouldn't let me win, said Arbaugh. No, of course not. They're not going to let you win just because you're disabled. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. The implant has also helped Nolan to begin learning French and Japanese and has generally removed barriers when it comes to reading. He has also emphasized that he had suffered no cognitive impairments as a result of the procedure, and that he was able to leave the hospital a day after undergoing the 2-hour surgical procedure. 2-hour surgery? Wow. 2-hour surgery to have a computer interface put into your head that you still have to charge. Lord Famine, what's up? It's not perfect. I would say that we have I would say that we have run into some issues, commented the 29-year-old. I don't want people to think this is the end of the journey. There is still a lot of work to be done, but it has already changed my life. Soon after Neuralink posted the video, Musk took to X to re-emphasize his ambitious long-term plan for the technology. The billionaire hopes to eventually use that to shunt signals directly from a patient's motor cortex to the relevant part of the body in order to bypass sections of damaged spine and restore mobility due to loss and paralysis. Neuralink has also discussed the possibility of using implants to stimulate regions of the brain in order to help blind patients to see with the aid of cameras. See, this is where somebody like me would not be able to use that, because unless they can bypass the retina, then I wouldn't be able to see it. Not much new, day off work, so stuff to do at home. Fun. Fun, fun, fun. Neuralink was founded by Elon Musk and a handful of scientists and engineers in 2016 with a goal to create a brain-computer interface, BCI, that could one day be used to restore autonomy in individuals with medical needs. In order to use the interface, a patient would have to undergo an invasive procedure performed by a surgical robot in which a section of the skull is cut away, making room for an implant. During the operation, During the operation, a collection of ultra-thin electrocarrying threads are inserted into key areas of the brain, where they record neuroactivity, then transmit via the implant to a Neuralink application, which decodes the data into executable actions, such as an order to move a computer cursor to a designated point. That sounds a little bit terrifying. The Neuralink chip would be implanted directly into the visual cortex. You wouldn't even need optic nerves. That's kind of... That makes me feel a little bit like a Borg, and I'm not sure I'd be okay with that. I don't know if I'd be okay with being a Borg. I don't know about that. The company has attracted significant controversy in recent years owing to concerns surrounding treatment of animals and experimental human trials. In December 2022, Reuters report citing official documents and interviews with over 20 past and present Neuralink employees stated that the company's experiments had led to the deaths of over 1,500 animals, including monkeys, pigs, and sheep, since 2018. Okay, that's normal. It is not uncommon for animals used in healthcare trials to be euthanized at the end of a study. However, according to Reuters sources, pressure from Musk, who was allegedly frustrated by the company's apparent lack of progress, had reportedly caused Neuralink scientists to adopt a rushed approach to certain parts of the project, which led to avoidable mistakes that caused needless death and suffering for the animals involved. Well, that's sucky, if true. Think of this being Johnny Mnemonic then. Yeah, didn't he, overload his brain with too much information and, go head explodey? According to the Reuters article, Neuralink was under federal investigation at the time by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's USDA's Inspector Generals for potential animal welfare violations. Later in 2023, Neuralink came under fire once again, this time for allegedly transporting contaminated implants used in animal experiments in an unsafe manner that could constitute a hazard to humans. Lovely. Think of it being star BTT is terrible. Neuralink has responded to criticisms by repeatedly stressing its commitment to ethical and humane animal trials, and has posted a slew of blogs highlighting positive aspects of its animal care program. In a January 2023 letter to lawmakers viewed by Reuters, the head of the USDA stated that December-focused investigation, or a separate focused inspection, had found no compliance breaches of U.S. law when it came to Neuralink animal trials. Those findings were later criticized by the nonprofit Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, which accused the USDA of giving Neuralink a free pass for violations in the Animal Affairs Act, protecting the committee. Protecting. Particularly, in regard to two incidents in which scientists use an adhesive called bioglue to seal holes drilled in the heads of rhesus macaques with fatal consequences. Aww.
He overloaded the data implant and it started seeping silicone into his brain pan. But that dog moderator, think of it being star VTT is terrible. But that dog moderator, he overloaded the data implant and it started seeping silicone.
He overloaded the data implant and it started seeping silicone into his brain pan. See, yeah, he like maxed out his capacity. He put like, what was it, 80 gigs in his head? Or something like that. Back when 80 gigs was a lot. Pincalo has watched that movie, which, like, he's watched that movie so many times. I have watched it with him, but I'm trying to remember if it was 80 or 120 gigs he put in his head. Neuralink subsequently announced in September 2023 that it had opened up for its first human clinical trial known as a precise robotic implanted brain-computer interface. Noland Arbaugh, who was known as P1 prior to having his identity revealed this month, was selected as the first participant. Well, that's sad to say, he's quadriplegic. So if he died, it wouldn't be went over the rated max and voided the warranty. He also went a little squirrely. He went slightly squirrely. This is what this feels like. I feel like if you like overuse the implant or like do too much with it, I have a feeling it could really fuck with you. I feel like this is not something that I would ever fuck with. I just have to say. I just really have to say I don't think I would ever do that. I've been asked if I would use Neuralink to see again, and I'm like, no, I'm good. Because, like, could you imagine if you're using, like, Neuralink or a pacemaker or anything like that, and a solar flare happens, or anything happens with a magnetosphere, and you're just... No, thank you. I'll stay blind. I'm good. I'm very good, thank you. I don't need any of that shit. So this is apparently a student had their artwork stolen and sold online, and now a lawsuit is developing over it.
A lawsuit has officially been filed against the Lester B. Pearson School Board.
Holy shit! I know where that is, I think.
It's on behalf of parents at a St. Lazare school who alleged their children's artwork was stolen and sold online. Christine Long has more.
It was surprise, it was shock.
Parent
Joel de Bellefeuille recalls the feeling of seeing his 13-year-old son's portrait being sold online on mugs, pillows, and shirts.
That's insane. What kind of teacher does that?
Lord Famine moderator. It's one of the things common in cyberpunk style storytelling.
It's one of the most
It's one of the things common in
it's one of the themes common in cyberpunk storytelling.
direct mental interface with computers and who knows what sort of sneaky stuff
Direct mental interface with computers and who knows what sort of sneaky stuff
could be hidden in the code.
could be hidden in the code. But it's true though. You never know. You really never know. But this is crazy. Could you imagine like you put like hard work into an art project and then your teacher steals it and puts it on mugs and shit and sells it?
How do you feel when you see your portrait on a shower curtain?
Weird, and I was like really shocked about it.
The de Bellefeuille family and 9 others have filed a complaint under the Copyright Act for over $1.5 million.
Holy shit.
$155,000 per plaintiff from teacher Mario Perron and the Lester B. Pearson School Board for alleged intellectual property infringement.
Are you guys trying to bankrupt the school board? Like, I'm sorry, I understand why you're suing, but for that much money? That's a lot of money to have to sue over childhood art. Like, do you really think your kid's art is worth $450,000?
They're also asking for an apology.
In Canada, a Copyright Act is very clear, the law, and it states the person that's infringed upon can request statutory damages between $500 to $20,000 per artwork.
Okay, but it's a child, like, I get it. I get you want to punish the teacher for doing this, but it's a childhood's art piece. It's not like a Monet or a Rembrandt. Like, come on.
So what makes this extremely unique, it's not only one artwork, it is almost 3,000 different items.
He says most of the 96 students had their artwork featured on 31 different items like phone cases and ornaments. Prices range from a few dollars to more than $100 each.
Jesus.
When the news broke in February, it made international headlines.
I think I
Wanting to
covered
protect their
this.
children from the fallout. This parent spoke to CTV anonymously to say, as an artist, Mario Perron knew better.
Yeah, he was an art teacher. I think I covered this when it broke. I remember this now. He was an actual art teacher, and he put all this stuff on merchandise.
My daughter was taken advantage of, and she feels that way as well. And also because I am an artist as well, and I hope as the teacher being an artist, if someone was to do that to him, I'm sure he would do the same thing that we're doing right now.
Documents have been filed with the Quebec
Probably
court.
would.
De Bellefeuille's brother, lawyer Martin de Bellefeuille, is representing the families. De Bellefeuille says now that the legal documents are submitted, the school board has 15 days to reply.
Parents always trying to monitor their children's behavior online, but here we are where we now have to also monitor what the teachers are doing online.
The Lester B. Pearson
Yeah,
School
that's
Board told
ridiculous.
CTV News that it does not comment on internal investigations of human resources issues.
It doesn't comment on internal investigation. It doesn't comment on investigations it's doing on itself, is what they just said.
The art is pretty much crap, but
The art is pretty much crap. Well, yeah.
Lord Famine moderator. The art is pretty much chat messaging.
I'm sorry, it's middle school art,
But Alma 4.
right? It's I
Text field.
even a really good artist in middle school is still a middle school artist, right? I don't think a lawsuit of $1.5 million is at all reasonable. I would have filed a lawsuit I would have still sued the school, but I would have been asking for something like 50 grand a family instead of 450 grand a family, and like in punitive damages for taking advantage of kids and selling their art online. That's what I would do. I would not go for let's bankrupt the school board and the teacher, because that will affect the students of the school that didn't have this happen to them. It will affect the ability of the school to provide like quality material for the coming school years, unless they somehow get an injection of cash from somewhere. So I don't think a large lawsuit like that is helpful. The school board investigates itself, finds no wrongdoing, and states something like the matter has been dealt with. Yep. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I'm expecting from this. But yeah, I think that lawsuit is way too exorbitant.
Christine Long, CTV News.
So that is that little news story. The rest of the news stories are political, so we're going to watch the other two videos first. So we're going to start with the mainstream media calls for the final purge of gamers. Because they're on the side of Sweet Baby, apparently. And you can't have nice things when it comes to gaming. You just can't, apparently.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So today we're going to go over some wild updates regarding the ongoing Sweet Baby Inc. situation, starting with this article that a lot of people share with me. At first, I didn't even believe this is real. I mean, just look at this headline. It says, BBC gaming presenter Jules Hardy calls for current Sweet Baby Inc. discourse to end with a final purge of ideological opponents from the medium.
Wow. A final purge, eh? That's not inflammatory language at all, is it? No. That's completely fine. Not at all like inflammatory against gamers.
Yes, that is a very wild thing to see. A member of the media calling for a final purge of gamers who disagree with her.
What is this, the final
solution
solution
at first I thought,
for
surely
gamers?
this must be an exaggeration, right? No, it's not. So here's the actual tweet that they are sourcing from her Twitter account. It says, "Can we all agree that for round 2 of this, it can be the final purge of these kinds of gamers? It's 2024. I've been arguing about this for decades. Can we have a last full detox of these dudes so we can get back to the positive gaming
it's just
community
dudes.
we have been creating? Yes, let's get back to positivity by initiating a final purge of gamers you don't like."
Yeah, let's get all the positivity going by doing something incredibly negative and causing incredibly negative backlash. That sounds brilliant.
I don't want to be purged, and Sweet Baby can deep throat a cactus and then chug a bottle of Lord Famine Moderator. School board investigated Lord Famine Moderator. I don't want to be purged, and Sweet Baby can deep throat a cactus and then chug a bottle.
I don't want to be purged, and Sweet Baby can deep throat a cactus and then chug a bottle of hot sauce. Ooh.
This
Ouch.
is absolutely insane stuff. Remember, members of the media have been calling gamers extremists and fascists for simply joining the Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam group that is a curation list of games to avoid.
Nothing
However,
more.
they also feel comfortable saying things like this, calling for the purge of people who do not share their ideological views. Absolutely insane. Now you can see in the replies, Melanie Mack here says this, AKA, you want to purge real gamers in favor of activists who can't hang in a multiplayer lobby without having a meltdown, or who can't navigate a single-player game without yellow paint, shiny ledges, and the characters telling them what to do.
Very true. And it's these game journos and these people that play these games, they use accessibility settings as a crutch. Like these people that have nothing wrong with them, right? They will use the accessibility settings to make the game easier because they don't want to try to play the game. That's why a lot of people say that the disability settings and stuff is cheating, because there are a lot of people, a lot of game journalists out there in particular, that will put the game on easy, and then they will also turn on the accessibility features. So they'll basically just have their hands held throughout the whole game. What happened to the so-called tolerant left? I don't know. I really don't know, Lord Famine. I don't know when they stopped being tolerant and when they started acting like this.
Where Jules would reply with this, saying, "Nah, I want to purge the hate and vitriol from gamers who refuse to allow gaming to evolve and adapt as we humans are doing. I have no problem with opposing viewpoints, but hate, violence, and aggressive behavior isn't okay in any realm you live within." And of course, when you classify violence and aggression and
what the hell are
harassment and
your
things like
tweets?
that, when it comes from people like Jules, they basically mean anyone fairly criticizing them, while also claiming legitimate harassment campaigns like that one led by a Sweet Baby Inc. employee doesn't fall under these categories. But looking at what she's saying, it is a really radical thing, okay? Let's think about this sentiment that she's sharing, okay? She's basically saying we need to purge off this section of gamers who share some ideological view amongst themselves in order to
get rid
adapt
of them
and evolve as humans.
And what does that mean? To purge them? Does that mean chase them out of the space? Or does that mean like actually unalive a bunch of people?
That sounds like a line out of the Nuremberg trials, okay? It's absolutely insane what this woman is saying. And also check this out. One like, nearly 300 replies on an account with nearly 50,000 followers. Absolutely insane stuff. And you can see here, just like it was said in the article, she is a presenter slash host for BBC. Now, moving forward, let's return to another couple of updates regarding this situation with Kotaku. Recently, there was a new order from management that was requiring Kotaku contributors to focus more on game guides than political news type stories.
Okay.
And of course, one of the editor-in-chiefs would resign in response to that. Now, since then, there has been a bit of a power struggle among the remaining Kotaku employees. I think you can venture to guess that there's new positions opening up as a result of this, and people are trying to make their stake and claim that new spot. And you can see people like Alyssa Merchant, I don't know, I don't think anyone cares.
Mercanti.
She is a senior editor at Kotaku who's been very involved in this ongoing Gamergate situation. You can see her award-winning story here, her coverage of the Sweet Baby Inc. situation, where she intentionally omitted critical details of this situation because it would make her friends in the gaming industry look bad. And she's been taking this opportunity, the spotlight, to promote herself nonstop, including on social media, no matter the cost.
Of course, because that's
Even
what
if
you
it's
do
people
when
laughing
you're
at her,
defending
criticizing
somebody.
her. She doesn't care because it's attention. That's what she craves. And you can see she has been targeting other people. She has moved on from gamers generally, and she is now focused on cancellation campaigns directed at YouTubers. Here making this basically call to action amongst her community, asking for information about a streamer slash gaming personality who leans very hard into Christianity and homophobia. And they made it very clear based on the context. They were talking about Melanie Mack, who would reply eventually once it became very clear who Alyssa was talking about. And she would say basically, on an initial glance of how Alyssa has been handling this, clearly her intentions are very bad faith. Now, shortly after that, she would make another tweet, this time addressing a more general group of personality slash streamers who have seen a meteoric rise in popularity shortly after adopting more reactionary views, basically asking people to share information. Of course, this invites a lot of
So
bad
these
faith
are the-
actors who are looking to cancel certain YouTubers and streamers by sharing information with people like Alyssa.
So these are the reaction people who don't, when they're reacting to something, they don't like it, so they'll send the persons that they're reacting to's info to their little group of friends and send their friends after them.
Now later, she would directly name one of these people that she's looking into, and that would be Asmongold. And she'd be asking people for information surrounding his
Asmongold?
apparent shift into more reactionary content
Oh
and
my God.
attitudes in general. And it's not really surprising that she would select Asmongold because she definitely has a bit of a hate boner for him. And it's probably because he has been very involved in the criticism of Sweet Baby Inc. and games journalists. And in particular, he has directly addressed people like Alyssa and others trying to cancel him over recent events.
I agree with him, but at the same time, these are the same Kotaku people that were trying to find the real names of the guys that were in the Sweet Baby Discord. They would very quickly get you fired from your job without a second thought.
They
pat
would,
themselves in the-
because they were on board with this whole thing. They were retweeting tweets from an account, I think it was Alyssa's account, who was saying, a straight white men eating makes me feel gross, or it was weird. Like, the stuff I was looking at yesterday was pretty eye-opening in regards to just the handling of the people from Sweet Baby Incorporated by everyone around them.
in the back whenever they find out that it worked. Yeah, they literally tried to cancel you. Yeah, they tried to shut me down. They tried to get my sponsorship with Capcom pulled because I had the audacity to think that Sweet Baby Inc. might not necessarily make every video game better. And I even had the audacity to say that other people had the right to have that opinion.
And
No,
to her intentions behind all
absolutely
this,
they do.
I think it's very obvious. Alyssa and Kotaku in
If
general
somebody
are very-
doesn't think something makes something better, they're entitled to that opinion. If they feel that a certain character added to a game doesn't help the game, they're entitled to feel that way.
very desperate for clicks. They are not in a good space right now. They are very, very desperate. And talking about people like Asmongold and Melanie Mack, they don't care how many people dogpile them and make fun of them and fairly criticize them. They just want attention to save the sinking ship. Now, a lot of people have been pointing out this shift, right? They're talking about Asmongold and other people's shift. Well, here's a shift some people have been noticing: a pre-Kotaku versus post-Kotaku shift with Alyssa here, which is really funny. I mean, honestly, this just kind of looks like the average before and after of someone who goes to a liberal arts college. But anyways, moving on. We've also seen Mark Kern here alert Asmongold that they were coming after him once again.
Oh no,
where
they're
Asmongold
coming
would reply
after
saying that she
Asmon.
wants to know
They're
what the
coming
motivation or
after
reasoning
him.
is behind my
What
content.
does that
She
mean?
can just DM me directly. Now, of course, she's not going
They're
to do that
coming
because
after him.
it's a lot easier to make these general posts where bad actors will reach out and share information with Alyssa with the hopes of her.
That was
Asmongold simply
sarcasm. The
because
left
they
has
don't
never
like
been
him, and that's what
tolerant.
she's doing
That's
with
true.
everybody involved in the situation. But speaking of Mark Kern here, he is once again pointed out
messing
a
with
very
Asmon's
weird
fan base is
pattern
totally
of
going to
behavior
end
with
well for them.
Alyssa,
Yeah.
where she's basically
I don't
doing
know,
this,
some
like,
of his
cat and
chat's
mouse
pretty
game where she is
stupid, but-
blocking, unblocking, following, and then repeating that cycle over and over again with his account. It's very strange. She might have a crush on him. I'm not sure. But moving forward, Alyssa has been busy. She got another tattoo, and this is something people have been talking a lot about. Here is a zoom in of the message. It says, "All men are enemies." Now, a lot of people have been
Why
huffing
would
their
you
own
have
farts
that
and acting like
tattooed
this
on
is
your
some
body?
very, very deep message because it's quoting something. I don't really think the original source is really relevant. When you've seen her pattern of behavior, I think this is a message that is directed towards people she does not like. And that's a lot
I
of
would agree.
men, in particular, male gamers. Now, returning to Alyssa's previous tweet asking for
She
information
really
about
does
particular...
not like the male, to the straight white male gamer. She has a very big problem with straight white men. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to her when she was young, but apparently straight white men hurt her very badly, and now she hates them all.
Personality and streamers, we would see a reply from an individual named Irina Perea, where she would say this: "Let's see how my shitstorm pans out. talking about female biology is apparently an extremist position. Now, shortly, we will get some context on this statement, but who is this individual? While checking out her account, she is the CEO of Unleashed Games, a game dev for many years, and also currently private on Twitter because of backlash that she's been facing from both gamers as well as Twitter users in general, based on this tweet. It all started with this one right here saying, just wait until they notice that none of our
nobody's
starting characters
really
in our
been
alpha
bullying
build
her
are
until
white
she
males.
said that.
None out of 6. Now that's a very weird thing to do, especially since this is their first game they are developing. This is a very bad look because they are excluding certain types of characters based on skin color and gender.
Yes.
That is not a very good thing. That is not something that people are going to tolerate
that's not
in this
legal.
current atmosphere where
You
gamers
can't
are
do
calling
that.
out
You can't,
these ridiculous
unless
attitudes
you're
of developers
playing a
like
specific character that unless you're doing a movie on somebody that we all know is dark skinned and you have to cast somebody that's dark skinned, that's different. But you can't just automatically expect that you're going to be casted because of your skin color or your gender or your disability or your sexual orientation.
Like this. Now, what is Unleashed Games? You can see they're also private. If you go to their website, you see elements of the dragon. Their code on respect that states, respect is fundamental. From working internally as a team to how we treat our players. Respect runs deep in our veins and our being. And the best way to show respect is to listen. Quite an ironic code if you look at what she was just previously saying. But let's move forward and see some other interactions she's been having on social media, where one user said, just here watching the ratio take effect, where Irina replies saying, I know it's awesome. My follower count keeps going up. Hashtag keep going. Ah, yes, definitely not insecure. And also, I'm glad you're listening to people, right? Let's see Irina, based on her company's code, continuing to respect gamers by listening to their criticisms.
Yes,
where they
listening.
say, representation matters. Inclusivity is not the same as racism. Enjoy hating on me for today. I'll go back to making games. So she is basically...
So no actual meeting of the minds here. None of that. It's just, oh, well, I'll just continue to make games and you can keep hating on me if you want. Really? That's not a clever discourse at all. That's just stomping your feet and taking your ball and going home. That's what that is. You, like, holy shit.
Away any criticism and claiming that what she's doing is not discrimination. It's actually inclusivity. Well, yes, you can make this inclusion of, let's say, persons of color in terms of characters, but it's still discrimination. It doesn't wipe away the fact that you're discriminating against other types based on the color of their skin and their gender. That doesn't erase that element. It still happened. It doesn't cancel it out.
No, it doesn't. It's just they want to think it cancels them out. They would really like it to cancel it out because of their hatred of whiteness.
Another person would talk about the recent video game conference. We'll get into that in a minute.
Oh, yes, the
video
Picky
game
Babies
conference is not about video games, where Irina would reply saying, people make video games. People sometimes talk about human things. Shocking, I know. Making video games for over 25 years with predominantly male coworkers. It was a notable moment I shared that has somehow now sparked up a lot of male rage. Now, what is she talking about? We'll get context in a moment.
Where they were called Picky Babies, maybe?
Has an issue with male game developers and males in general. We see it in this reply down here where she says, considering that 95% of video game characters are white and male, a poor representation of the diversity of actual players, I thought it would be a fun experiment. We started with all female characters.
95% of game characters are white men? Really? Because I can think of a whole bunch of games right now that don't have white people in them or have very few white people in them. And they range back quite a long time. So what the fuck is she talking about? What the fuck is she even saying? 95% of game characters are white men. What? Okay. I didn't realize that about Zelda or GTA or God of War. Well, God of War is the Vikings, but or The Last of Us. Or, let's see, what other games are around here that aren't Soul Calibur, Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat. You know that the drivers in all of those racing games are secretly straight white men. Yep. 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 All like, what the fuck? 95% of characters. Holy shit. Wow. Okay.
Now, of course, this claim of 95% of video game characters being white and male is outrageous. I would love to see where she got that number from. But continuing on, we would see the reference to what she's been talking about this whole time. So, 2 women sharing intimate stories about getting our periods in the GDC 24 merch store.
What
is the state of the game industry? Where this user says, this is a parody, right? Fully serious. It's nice to have other women in the industry and to be vulnerable and real with them in a way that we can't be with the majority of devs.
Why do we need to discuss our periods while we're making a game? What the fuck? Why do women... What is it with these woke-ass women and also men that want to be women? What is it with these 2 groups of people that are obsessed with periods and think that they're this wonderful thing that we should all talk about? Any of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms games. Yakuza and Sleeping Dogs come to mind. Yeah, Yakuza. There's another game franchise where there's not white men. But like, seriously, what is it with these woke ass women and trans women that are just obsessed with the menstrual cycle and think it's just amazing and that it needs to be discussed all the time?
This GDC was the most female powered of any of the past GDCs. I am 100% here for this. Now, the GDC, of course, is something that we've talked about. It was the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, California that just closed a few days ago. Yes, that is the one where they were screaming. The game developers were screaming at the current state of the gaming industry and their criticism and the criticism that they're facing from gamers that they think is really unfair.
Yes, it's so unfair that gamers are criticizing the fact that your products are shit. It's very unfair that the people that you're creating these products for are saying, hey, you've really fallen off lately. What the fuck?
Let's remind ourselves of how cult-like these people are.
The fuck? Why are we screaming? Like, why are we literally screaming? This isn't cheering. This isn't... They're literally screaming like animals.
Now that clip right there is going to go down in history as one of the funniest gaming moments of all time. Or
That's as bad as having a conversation about poop issues from being sick. Yeah, that's just another thing that doesn't need to happen. Like, why? There are just certain groups of people. They're just obsessed with their bodily fluids and bodily functions, and they have to talk about it. And I don't understand. I don't get it. Just, yes, it's annoying. Deal with it.
Should I say the most detached thing from gaming and showing how detached these people are from the industry that they're supposed to be working in. But moving forward, we can see Irina's participation in the recent GDC, where she had a whole conversation exactly how you would expect this whole thing to be framed. But looking at this entire situation, what a mess. As Mark Kern says here, I thought DEI virtue signaling was supposed to be good for business. And as you can see, both the Unleashed Games account and Irina's account are private. Yeah, I thought this was supposed to be something that all gamers wanted, and that was the progressive future that everyone is striving towards, except for a couple of extremist white male gamers. Well, as it turns out, everybody hates this stuff, and they are getting an eye-opening experience. People like Irina are really finally starting to see that what they're pushing for, their agenda, is not
They had a
wanted.
scream protest outside a game company.
It is only tolerated and celebrated by their peers in the industry. But it's finally catching up to them, and this is a good thing. So today was definitely a very wild video, some very wild topics. So as always, feel free to share your thoughts on them in the comment section down below. But that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.
This is insane.
Lord Famine moderator. They had a scream and reaction.
Like a scream protest. As if that would do anything except make people laugh at you. Like, what the fuck? Like, and then they have the gall, the unmitigated gall, to call gamers the picky babies. Meanwhile, they're standing out there screaming like retards at a game company. Wow. Okay. Yes. Yes. Us gamers. We're the picky babies. Yes. Sure.
Lord Famine moderator. They had a and reaction.
I'm flabbergasted by this behavior. Okay. We're gonna do the be right back. I'm gonna get more coffee, and I hope just run to the bathroom and everything. So you guys refill your coffees. Throw the stream around in some discords if you could. And I'll be right back. Hello. Okay. So we're going to switch our videos back to what we're going to watch. Then we'll put it on live stream. So we're going to watch ourselves a cop video before we get into our politics. There we go. Got ourselves a little Code Blue Cam video for us to look at. So here we go. Throwing a tantrum just like a bunch of toddlers. Exactly, Lord Famine. Just like toddlers. Just like picky babies.
In August 2023, a deputy observed a vehicle displaying unusual driving behavior in Walla Walla, Washington. Eventually, the vehicle was seen turning into a parking lot and coming to a halt where a traffic stop was initiated. As the deputy approached the vehicle, a 32-year-old female driver was noticed reclining in her seat and appeared to be asleep. He asked her for her ID 6 times, and she refused to cooperate on each occasion.
So what? She pulled in and just passed out?
She then made an attempt to walk away, stating that she couldn't be pulled over because she was parked. Additionally, the deputy noticed her speech was extremely slurred and her eyes were bloodshot. Assisting deputies then arrived and made contact with the initial deputy of the traffic stop.
All right, so at this point, she has refused to identify herself. She's gotten out of the vehicle and attempted to walk away. I had her sit down on the sidewalk.
I'm sitting right here.
And then she began filming.
No.
Cool. I parked behind her. She was reclined, about to pass out. I knocked on the window.
No, because my friend's coming from me.
So, except refusing to identify herself at this point.
No, my friend's...
What do you have driving-wise on her?
So I just left the jail doing a transport coming back.
So she's like, she just won't stop talking. And the deputy is like, shh, right? Like, and she just won't stop talking.
She was stopped in the lane, left-hand lane. Stopped in lane 2.
In the middle of the highway?
In the middle of the highway. And my camera's filming right now.
So yeah. So mine's filming as well.
She made a very slow left-hand turn. She got into the turn lane. She did use her turn signal, but then it was a very lethargic turn.
Like,
coming around the corner by the airport, she crossed that yellow line twice. Turning here onto this road, she did not use her turn signal, and then I parked kind of right there by that flag.
No, that's a lie. I love how she's just got a running commentary of contradiction.
As you can see, watery eyes, slurred speech.
Okay.
No.
Awesome.
Did you run the plate?
I give it to your dispatcher.
Awesome.
Can we get the name of the RO and see if we can get a photo?
Get a photo of your...
So we can identify her.
Get a photo of your bullshit. Dude, stop rambling. You're not helping yourself at all. Holy shit. Just, even if you're not drunk, right? Especially if you're drunk, but even if you're not drunk, right? Just shut up. When the police are dealing with you, just yes, sir, no, sir, here you are, sir.
All right, ma'am. Deputy Stites, Walla County Sheriff's Office.
No.
So, just so you know, you're being recorded.
No.
Wait. Walla County Sheriff's Office.
No.
So, just so you know, you're being recorded.
No.
You're being recorded.
No.
And so, at this time, we're investigating.
Who is she? What is she even saying?
No.
And so, at this time, we're investigating DUI.
No.
You're not free to leave.
Oh, she's speaking Spanish. That's what she's doing. She's speaking Spanish. Okay. She's still slurring, but she's slurring Spanish.
Okay.
No.
So, we're going to be doing some investigation right now.
No. Estos güeyes no saben nada. Hey, Richie, this guy is being a poser.
All right, ma'am. So we're going to need to know who you are.
No, you're a poser.
This guy is being a poser? Okay, so she can switch between Spanish and English with no issues. And this guy is being a poser? Okay.
You don't tell us.
No.
That's called obstruction. Okay.
Obstruction.
Yeah. So you're currently required by law to
obstruction.
identify
You're a
yourself right
poser.
now.
No.
Stay seated, ma'am.
No. You're required by law to.
All right. Right now. Right now.
No. I'll say right here. You're required by law to.
Okay. Right now.
You're required by law to what?
Not obeying. Right
look for
now. Right now.
interpreter?
Right now.
No, I'll stay right here. You required by law to
Okay,
look for
okay.
interpreter?
Right now, we're gonna put handcuffs on you because you're not obeying orders.
No, I'm not obeying orders. I'm sitting
Yep.
right here.
You're gonna keep.
I'm not obeying orders. I'm staying right here. No, that's correct. You are not obeying orders. Very good. Very, very good. Lady has the right to quit, but not the ability. Pretty much. Pretty much, Ghost Dog.
Keep sitting here.
Look for interpreter. Look for interpreter. Yo necesito un intérprete.
Oh, we're back to
porque
Spanish.
ustedes no saben nada.
No, I got a double
I
lock
don't know
these so they
nothing.
don't accidentally tighten. Okay.
Accidentally.
Yep. We don't want them to tighten.
No, you guys are fools. I'm
Do
parked.
you want to grab your?
I'm parked.
I'm parked.
Just lock those for me. Yep.
You
Man, just
guys
relax.
are
Relax.
false. I'm
Who's
parked.
going to interpret?
Yeah, just relax. Just relax. We don't want
You
you to
guys
get.
don't know language?
Yeah.
You guys don't know language?
Okay. Now just relax. Will you stay seated here?
Yes.
Thank you.
You guys don't know a
Just stay seated.
language? No,
Sure.
obviously they don't know Spanish, dude.
Internet? Internet?
What about the internet?
Cool. So just stay seated.
I will.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gracias.
Why are we
Gracias.
talking about the internet
Gracias.
now?
Gracias.
Do you speak
Gracias.
Chinese?
What?
Chinese, ishine sanchi.
Good.
Ishine Japanese, not Chinese.
Well, 我会讲国语，
Ishina.
所以我不会讲毛西文。
Why? What the fuck? Why are we doing Chinese and counting in Japanese when she was speaking Spanish? How did you mistake Spanish for Chinese? Why does every what is with your obsession with China?
So I don't speak Spanish, but I do speak Chinese. So if you speak Chinese, that would be awesome. We could talk.
Sanchi, go, Kosichihachi.
That's pretty good. Japanese?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
But not enough.
I like learning languages. It's pretty cool.
That's good. That's good.
All right. So how much have you had to drink tonight?
Call my friend Richie right now.
Does Richie know how much you've had to drink tonight?
Call him first.
That's great.
Who's
fucking
Richie
parked.
to you?
Why should I answer that question?
Well,
Because you're telling us to call him.
Do you have a phone number that we can call Richie on?
Where's my phone first?
It's right behind you.
Wow, why are you being such a bitch? Oh wait, 'cause you're drunk and you're swearing at the police for no reason.
I'm gonna put this here so it doesn't get broken. All right. Where are you trying to get to tonight?
Por ahí. Cabrones.
Where are you trying to get to tonight?
Por ahí.
Home?
Por ahí. Call Richie first. No te reconozco, güey.
She's
pinche
both.
güero.
So
No
we've
eres
got
mi
driving, so
No
there's
sé
supplements.
nada de ti.
Would you like Debbie Atkins to try to do Stanford sobriety with her?
If you guys wouldn't mind taking this, I just got done dropping off a DUI, so I need to.
Yeah. We'll
clear out.
I just got done dropping off a DUI. I don't want to do another one. Please take this. I'm begging you. I don't have patience for a back-to-back DUI.
just need a supplement from
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
about what you saw.
Absolutely.
Do you guys recognize the
So.
American
Yeah, I
native
can stick
culture?
around
Or
if you guys
do you not? You
Sorry,
guys are
I-
Wait,
trespassers.
So.
American
Yeah, I
native
can stick
culture?
around
Or
if you guys
do you not?
Do you
guys
guys
are
recognize
trespassers
the
on our land. Do you
American
not
native
recognize
culture?
that?
I'm sorry about that.
You're sorry, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was trespassing.
You are.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm
Fucking
saying
white
sorry.
people. And knock you
Well-
guys all out.
Well, I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't recommend that.
I'm sorry, but at the same time, you're trespassing on native land.
Okay.
I fucking what you want all white people out of our native lands.
Oh my god, here we go. Here we go. He asked how much she drank and deer in the headlights look. Yeah, that was a big long pause there. That was a super long pause. That was.
Okay.
It hurts at the same time.
I can't say how I know how that feels because I was born in America and my
Doesn't matter.
Don't go
my
with that.
My family.
Don't
came over
run
a long
with
time
that.
ago.
A lot of children on native lands. White people hate them.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. All right. So.
You're so white as
No,
them.
it is. I am very, very white.
I'm not
You're
going to tempt
very
pills.
white.
Okay. So at this time.
Wow, this is super racist. And you know what's fucked up is the white cops just have to be like, wow, I'm really sorry you feel that way. That really, like, I don't know how that feels. Like, any other fucking, if an arresting person had been saying that to a black cop, the whole, like, the arresting officer, all the officers there would be shouting, would be like, don't say that shit, and knock knock, who's there? Police, no entrance without a warrant. Well, it was a cop, it was a traffic stop. It wasn't like...
Lena gets my car.
So at this time you are under arrest for DUI.
I don't care. You white people
So
hate you.
we're gonna take you
I
over to the jail.
don't fucking care, you fucking white people. I fucking hate you. I love how that's allowed.
Okay.
I don't care. Take me anywhere you want.
Okay.
Get me.
Do you have a wallet? Do you have?
I don't care.
Do you have a wallet in your car that you want to take?
Get me up.
Okay. All right. Let's stand up. All right.
Jesus
Is
Christ.
there anybody you want us to call about the vehicle?
Get Richie right now.
Okay. You said you want us to get him, but we don't have a phone number.
Get my phone
Okay.
first.
All right. Once we get you in the
smart, get my phone.
once you're in the car, we'll take care of that. Okay.
Let's go in my car. Okay.
You're white as I can get out of.
Just hang the right to a lawyer if you can.
No.
Jesus Christ.
No, I don't.
Stop with your racist bullshit.
152 dispatch. We have one in custody, suspicion of DUI. Still trying to ID her.
As they tried to place her in the back seat, she dropped to the ground and expressed her desire to piss.
White people aren't qualified as.
Search and switch out these cuffs real quick.
You don't pee. I gotta pee. I gotta pee. You want me to pee in your car or what? I gotta pee. You want me to pee in your car?
No, you gotta wait till we get to the jail.
No, I gotta pee right now. I gotta pee.
Why?
Right
Because you're a
now.
freaking untrained...
I gotta
I'm not
pee
gonna say that.
right
Up here
now.
close to the car. Step
No,
up
I
here,
gotta
this way.
pee right
there
now.
You go.
No, you don't.
Let me pee.
Okay.
Right here? Yeah, you're welcome to right there. Go for it, ma'am.
Don't fall.
I will fall, mother.
Hello, is anyone there? Hello, is there anyone here?
Anyone here, mother?
This is Deputy Stateswell County Sheriff's Office.
I hate white people. I hate white people.
Do you need
Okay,
No,
you've already
let me
said
pee.
that.
Okay, go for it.
No, I won't pee like this, mother.
Okay, well then.
Then
we gotta
wait.
Get in the car and,
No, let me pee first.
Well.
Then
You gotta
pee.
go to the jail and then.
Yeah, at
No,
the jail you
I'm
can.
gonna pee right here, right
Then
now.
pee.
That's fine. How do you want to take care of that?
Right now. Call Richie right now.
Richie, are you there? Whoever was on the phone just hung up.
Nope.
Nope, he's still there. Or she's there. I don't know who this is. Did you want to say something? Whoever's on the phone?
Give me him on my ear right now.
Richie.
Sorry, Richie. I don't know how to operate.
Ha!
So
Stop
Richie
this
just
bullshit right now. I gotta pee.
Richie just hung
Hey,
up.
I gotta.
Oh, Lord, so you're drunken and driving because imagination.
Let's put your cuffs on.
tear my
Stand her
underwear
up.
so I can pee.
Let's stand her up and just get. If she pees in the car, she pees in the car.
No.
If she pees in the car, she pees in the
Okay,
car.
I'll
Yep.
pee in your car?
We don't want you to. We'd rather you just pee right here, but
No, I'll pee right here.
that's
Then
fine. but we
do
gotta
it.
Get you up. You can't be laying on the ground.
No seas pinche mugroso, pinche way.
You can't be laying on the ground.
I hate you
I know
for
you said
taking
that.
our lands.
I
I hate you for taking my lands. You
What land do you have? What land do you have ownership of right now? Your land. What land just and what land did he specifically take from you?
don't belong here at all. We have our own tribal
You want to do with her car?
laws. We have our tribal laws. No, we have our tribal laws.
She soon made her final announcement and proceeded to piss on the ground.
No, let me pee right here. Open the underwear so I can pee.
Stand up.
It's happening right now.
All right. Okay. Then go for it right here.
Jesus? No, Jesus is not involved at all. Yeah, it's happening right now.
Okay.
You guys are
It's her friend Richie. He works for the reserve police. Or her cousin Richie. He works for the reserve police.
Like
Yeah, and he hung up.
your native land. Jesus is not happening at all.
Just watch her wrists. We don't want to.
We don't want to put any pressure
on her wrists. Right now, what was your name?
You can chew your gum all you want.
Are you done? What was your name?
No, you can chew your gum all you want.
Thank you. What was your name?
No, you can chew your gum all you want.
Hey, are you done?
No, I'm not done. I gotta take a too.
She's done. Okay. Let's get you in the car.
Get in the car. I'll take a in your car.
Wow.
That's all I'm done about. I'll stink your car up.
Well, I'll just follow you guys to jail.
You got her locked?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Why do they act like, why do people act like this? Do they think that acting like this is a way to, like, I don't even know how to word this. I just can't understand people acting this way. I just don't understand. I don't understand this level of hatred for people. Like, they say that white people hate them and all this, but it's really the other way around.
Yeah, she's locked in. You want a picture of this for the case document?
Yeah, I'll take one here. Any ID on her?
He's got her on his laptop. DOL picture matches her. Yeah, the car. She's one of ours.
She's one of ours.
Alright, here we go.
While en route to the jail, the female began to scream, spit, kick, and lick the divider.
Ew.
Ma'am, I need you to sit down on the seat, okay?
Why would you fucking lick the divider? Do you know how many other people have been touching that thing? Are you fucking... What is the matter with you, woman? Do you know how many people have touched that thing?
You're sitting in a very dangerous position right now. And it looks like you slipped your seatbelt, so...
Stop faking. This is fucking... Why are women... Here's the other question. Why are women so much more gross and unruly when they're drunk than men? Like, men just turn into blubbering messes. Why do women act like this when they're drunk? This is not the first woman I've seen act like a fucking gross animal. What is it about alcohol and women that just turns them into creatures that should be caged in a zoo? Her cousin's like, hell no, I talk with her sober tomorrow morning.
I'm not going to attempt it.
Look, we need to ask. You have to ask.
We have to ask?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then we'll put her in a holding cell while you write your warrant. Once the warrant's approved, then we'll take her to the hospital. If at the hospital she refuses and becomes violent, we will not do a blood draw. We'll simply take her back to jail. Is there a female working at the jail?
Yep.
And then watch her
turn right.
spitting when she goes to get out.
Upon arrival, she refused to exit the squad car and was forcibly removed before being placed in a holding cell. Subsequently, she removed her clothes and began flooding the cell while also attempting to destroy the camera inside.
Of course, because they have to act like... Again, why are you acting like and I can't say it because then I'll be called racist.
In the end, the 32-year-old female was charged with misdemeanor counts of driving under the influence, obstructing an officer, and failure to identify self to an officer. Due to limitations in Washington's online court access, the bond amount set for her remains unknown. Visit codebluecam.com.
What the hell is wrong with these people? Like I said, there's something about alcohol and women that just turns women into absolute fucking... Like, and not all women, but just... Why is she acting like a complete moron? Because she is. I couldn't, there was no other way I could say that without sounding like a horrible person. I couldn't do it. It was just so bad. It was so bad. So, apparently, the Canada Revenue Agencies just fired 232 people. Damn, what is she on? She's just drunk. So, CRA files 232 people for falsely claiming a $2,000 monthly pandemic benefit. So there were a bunch of employees that worked for the Canada Revenue Agency that were working during the pandemic that claimed the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, or CERB. So rightfully, they've been fired. So here we go. Let's take a look at this. Ottawa. The Canada Revenue Agency has now fired more than 200 people for falsely claiming a federal income benefit during the COVID-19 pandemic. The CRA says as of March 15th, 232 employees had inappropriately applied for and received the Canada Emergency Response Benefit and have been terminated, an increase of 47 since December. But no, there isn't a culture of theft and dishonesty in the Trudeau government. Not at all. Not at all. It's everything's fine. The benefit, known as CERB for short, provided $2,000 a month to Canadians whose jobs were lost as a result of public health restrictions during the pandemic. And the Canada Revenue Agency was not one of those places because they were working remotely. They must repay the CERB funds they received if they have not already done so. The agency launched an internal review that identified 600 employees. 600 employees for further investigation. But not all would have been ineligible for the benefit because some were students or short-term employees. The CRA says the case-by-case reviews completed to date confirm 133 employees properly received the benefit, leaving about 235 files to be reviewed. That is insane. Absolutely batshit insane. And again, this just goes to show the from the top down culture of corruption that goes on in the Trudeau government. It's absolutely insane. And I'm glad the Canada Revenue Agency is actually taking action and firing these people that applied for this benefit. But the fact that we have to pay it out and then fix it later is very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating, and it's very time consuming. It's incredibly time consuming. So before we start reading the next article, I have a question for you guys while I have everybody here. Would you guys like me to also multi-stream the Combat Hour to both YouTube and Twitch? Or would you just prefer it to be on Twitch? Because it seems like YouTube is pulling in some more viewers right now than Twitch. So I'm wondering, would you guys be interested in having the multi-stream for both the Coffeestream and the Combat Hour? Not sure it's just a Trudeau thing. It's more a deep state corruption. Like a get a government job and steal everything that isn't nailed down mentality. I think you might be right about that, Lord Famine. I think it just feels more amplified because of all the corruption that's been going on from the top. But I think you're right. I think you probably have hit the nail on the head there. Because there are people who just, you know, they want to get a government job and then they want to fuck with the system from inside. So I think you might be right. Trudeau says premiers complaining about carbon price didn't pitch better ideas. Oh, because it's our job to pitch. It's our job as provinces to pitch better federal ideas. Okay. So not only do you want to mess with the provincial jurisdiction, you want the provincial the provinces to mess with what's it called? You want the provinces to also interfere with the federal jurisdiction. Okay. Cool. The federal government is ruling out any future pauses or exemptions to the carbon price. Trudeau announces major carbon price policy change. So the federal Liberals are increasing the carbon price rebate for rural Canadians, pausing the tax on home heating. So those are the headlines here. So let's see. In Ottawa, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is pushing back against premiers who are asking him to cancel the upcoming increase to the federal carbon price, saying they have not proposed better ideas to fight climate change. Well, because climate change is not going to be fought with money. And it's kind of the federal government's job to have Canada's action plan on climate, not the province's job. So, wow. Good luck on getting that money back, right? In a reply to the 7 provincial leaders on Tuesday, Trudeau said the last time they discussed the issue in 2022, their governments either didn't propose alternative solutions or couldn't meet federal standards for reducing emissions. Jesus Christ. Canada barely makes emissions. We have all these... Oh my God. Oh my God. What the hell kind of emissions do we emit? We have made it clear that we are open to working with any of the provinces and territories that want to establish their own pricing systems, as long as they meet or exceed the national benchmark, the leader said. Because that's all you care about. That's all you care about. All you care about is things being done your way because it makes you feel powerful. You don't care how it affects the people in the country at all. You guys you have no idea. The premiers of Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland and Labrador all asked Trudeau to forego the planned increase on April 1st. The carbon price is set to increase by $15 a ton from $65 to $80. The increase is expected to add about 3 cents to the cost of a liter of gasoline. The leaders cite inflation and the high cost of living as reasons to slow down. Most have also requested to testify before the House of Commons committee on the matter, except Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moset, who is expected to appear by video conference on Wednesday. Trudeau said in his letter that it's critical to dispel the misconception that Canada's carbon pricing system is a significant part of inflation, as there are many factors at play. Wow. Canada is a carbon negative country, second only to Australia. That's what I've heard, yeah. That's like everyone but BC. Yeah, BC and Manitoba, because those are the only NDP provinces. This is ridiculous. According to the Bank of Canada, the carbon price is only responsible for about 0.1 percentage points of annual inflation, he wrote. He said his government remains open to working with provinces that provide a credible system for carbon pricing, so long as it meets the federal standards. We continue to remain open to proposals for credible systems and price solutions that reflect the unique realities of the regions and meet the national benchmark. Trudeau's push against premiers is just the latest chapter in the years-long battle with the provincial Conservative leaders over the Liberals' signature climate policy. That policy has fallen under considerable pressure under recent months, as affordability concerns drive the political agenda of Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, endlessly campaigns to, as he puts it, spike the hike. Poilievre has been drumming up support for months, posting coast-to-coast rallies, fundraising, instilling parties, T-shirts with his pledge to axe the tax should Conservatives form the next government. As he rides high in public opinion polls, Poilievre can even point to solidarity from across the political aisle at the lone provincial leader of Newfoundland and Labrador. Andrew Furey asks Trudeau for a pause. Yeah. We've even got Liberals saying, hey, we need to stop this. The Prime Minister has defended his policy by pointing out that Canadians get a quarterly check to offset the payment of the carbon price. A rebate that is most generous. A rebate that is most generous for low-income households. He and his ministers have repeatedly slammed Poilievre for peddling simple slogans without providing his plan to tackle climate change. Because we don't need to tackle climate change the way that the Liberals think we do. The Conservative leader has offered scant details so far, including whether he would keep in place the carbon price that is supposed to account for the most significant reduction in emissions. He has vowed to foster new technology and speed up the approval processes for clean projects. Yeah, so Poilievre, every time Poilievre has a rally, he talks about his plans. He doesn't just say axe the tax, spike the hike. We actually have plans that he talks about. It's just that Trudeau doesn't actually, like, listen, because he doesn't actually want to understand how badly he has fucked the country. And I'm starting to agree with Andrew Scheer on this whole, like, he wants the country divided so that he can force big government on us. That's really what it feels like. That I really, really do keep, like, God save us from the government, and I am here to help, even in Canada. Yup. Oh my goodness. So let's go to our political video for the day. This happened yesterday. This was in my province of Ontario, and this is our provincial budget. And I would like to see how much we're affected by what's going on with the federal shit. So let's take a listen here. I also want to show you the difference between the provincial Conservatives and the federal Conservatives.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. If I may, Mr. Speaker, I would like to begin by dedicating a Budget 2024 to the story of a 19-year-old who left his home in war-torn Europe in 1949 and found his way to Canada.
Why do we need to dedicate the budget to anything? Can we just get on with the fucking budget, please?
With nothing but the shirt on his back, he dreamt of a new life and a new opportunity to go to university, to get a job, to raise a family and feel safe and free in his new country. Well, Mr. Speaker, that young man was able to work hard and through being industrious, get into engineering at the University of Toronto.
That young man was my
marry
father.
a beautiful woman, get a job in Montreal and raise 3 wonderful children. That 19-year-old is about to have his 94th birthday. And while he never saw his parents again, as the Iron Curtain prohibited him from going back to his homeland, he lived the Ontario dream. He lived the Canadian dream.
The Ontario
Mr.
dream?
Speaker,
Really?
that young man
Was my father.
That young man who came to Canada is my father.
Called it. You're gonna dedicate the budget to your dad?
Mr. Speaker, that young man who came to Canada is my father, and I dedicate this budget to him and the hope and dream for all 16 million Ontarians that they can have the same opportunity as my father had, an opportunity to build a future.
How can you be this hopeful with this budget, with what we have right now?
Now, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of Premier Ford and our entire government, I am pleased to introduce the 2024 Ontario budget, our plan to build a better Ontario.
And how the fuck do you plan to do that right now, dude? Seriously. How the fuck do you plan to build a better Ontario right now?
On
behalf of the Premier, Ford, and all of our government, I'm proud to present to you our budget for Ontario in 2024, our plan to build a better Ontario.
Now, Mr. Speaker, as I'm
oh
sure
my God,
you are
I have a
aware,
dream.
The budget is a forward-looking document. It's
A
roadmap,
forward-looking
blueprint,
document?
and
Oh
it's our
boy.
plan to rebuild Ontario's economy. This budget provides certainty to markets and, as importantly, confidence to people that the government is prepared for whatever lies ahead, regardless of the challenges the national or global economy will throw our way.
The national. I love how he said national. He's like the national economy. You throwing shots.
But before I turn my attention to the road ahead, Mr. Speaker, I would like quickly to take us down the road just traveled And much of this
Hello,
will not
Time
be
for Luck.
news to the people
Welcome
of
to
Ontario.
the
It
stream.
has been a challenging year. Life has rarely been this expensive.
The
Bank of
same way
Canada
how
has for
Donald
months
Trump
now
wanted to pay for
repeatedly
his wall.
raised interest rates at a big pace. The pace and frequency of the Bank of Canada rate hikes has been punishing, perhaps most of all on homeowners whose mortgages have in some cases increased by thousands of dollars a month.
Yeah.
Making matters worse, the federal government's carbon tax is making everything more expensive. From groceries to
Shame! Shame, they say in the back of the gallery. Yeah, that's right. Shit all over the federal government. Do it.
gas. The hard-working people of Ontario can't escape paying the high cost of the federal carbon tax. I almost can't believe I'm about to say this. The federal government is set to increase the carbon tax. It's astonishing. The people of Ontario, the people of Canada, cannot afford it.
Nope.
But more on that later, Mr. Speaker.
More on that later, Mr. Speaker. More on how our federal government is fucking us over later, Mr. Speaker. It's...
Our public finances are also not immune to economic uncertainty. Even so, Mr. Speaker, and it might be an odd thing for a finance minister to say, but let me say it plainly. The pressure of managing a government budget pales in comparison to the pressures many families face as they manage their family budget in a time when everything is costing more, or the challenges of a small business owner managing their budget in order to keep the lights on.
He's not wrong. This guy's not wrong. Like, I'm dealing with, like, the provincial budget or whatever. I would rather deal with that than try to deal with the grandstanding and bullshit are big and full.
And
Yep.
keeping local workers employed. These are the real challenges and the real problems of life and real people, of making rent, of paying the bills, of affording groceries. And the best way to help people is by getting the big decisions right, making smart investments, watching the expense line, and most of all, keeping costs low on people.
Yep.
That's why our plan to build a better Ontario helps them. Global economies have slowed, the cost of everything is higher, and so we've had two choices. Put the brakes on or keep going. Mr. Speaker, we choose to keep going to rebuild Ontario's economy because it is the right thing to do.
Okay, so what are you
Mr.
continuing
Speaker, we choose
with?
to keep going to rebuild Ontario's economy, and I think about the leaders who have come before. It was less than a month ago that our country lost one such statesman in the Right Honourable Brian Mulroney. Mr. Speaker, there is little left that can be said about Prime Minister Mulroney's legacy that has not already been said more eloquently by others, including, of course, his own daughter, the President of the Treasury Board, whom I'm so very fortunate to work with every single day.
Oh shit, I didn't realize that. Back in my country, so someone in Twitch chat says, back in my country, people made so many bullshit promises that the guy who got elected for the government of Seoul simply got elected for saying, hey guys, I promise not to do anything that will make us become worse than we already are already. Jesus. That's bad. That's bad.
Thus, I will say this, Mr. Speaker. Prime Minister Mulroney was a consequential leader who never backed down from the big challenges of his time. He was a leader who never shied away from using his time and power to try to accomplish big things for his fellow Canadians.
Big things.
What a great example for the rest of us. To use our finite time in office to have the courage to implement the big ideas and try to accomplish big things for our fellow Ontarians. And in this budget, this is exactly what we intend to do.
How? Can we finish with the speech and actually find out how?
And this is important, Mr. Speaker, for the global and national challenges facing our public finances are real. Just as families and businesses are not immune to economic uncertainty, neither is government. Despite these challenges, we are delivering on our plan to build by
Mulroney
investing.
hadn't set the stage that Trudeau has now jumped onto in regards to government overreach and censorship, we wouldn't be where we are now. Ding!
Attracting better jobs. We're building roads, we're building highways, we're building public transit, all the while keeping costs down for families and businesses.
How are you doing it? How are you doing that? How are you building and building and then keeping costs down?
Projections for future economic growth and inflation. And these projections now show that while economic growth is expected to significantly slow in the coming year, private sector forecasters are cautiously optimistic that it will not drop into negative territory before rebounding in subsequent years. Likewise, we project inflation, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, to fall under 3% this year before settling around 2% in the following 2 years. And as inflation returns to the Bank of Canada target, we expect and continue to urge that interest rates should also decline.
That's not gonna happen.
The people of Ontario are counting on it. The encouraging data is there, Mr. Speaker. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We can see it. But that said, we're not out of the tunnel quite yet.
You can see it, but fucking small business owners and families can't see it. Not yet.
The question is therefore straightforward. What are we to do today with the hand that we've been dealt? And there are options, there are choices. One choice would be to put the burden on taxpayers, to raise taxes, tolls, tuitions, or fees. Well, we are not going to do that. Rest assured. A second choice, Mr. Speaker, would be to tighten our belts, to cut investment in housing and cut investments in roads or better public services, in short, to retreat and do less. We are not doing that either. A third choice, Mr. Speaker, might be to throw our hands up, retreat, and expect municipalities to fill in the gaps. And we are not doing that. Instead, here's our choice. We're going to follow through on a plan that is working, knowing that the higher deficits compared to what we projected last year will be time-limited, while the return on investment will be felt for decades and for generations to come.
Okay, so we're projecting higher deficits now. Well, he knows how to play a room, but what is in the budget and how are you doing it? Exactly. That's what I'm hearing now. Sounds like we're starting to get into the budget now.
And Mr. Speaker, we will continue on our path to a balanced
So he's
budget.
going to build a bunch of stuff but has no money, or am I just being bad at English? No, that's kind of what he's saying right now. Like he's hasn't quite really told us where he's going to put all the money, so.
We told the people that we were going to invest in more roads and highways. And does this budget invest in more roads and highways, I ask you?
Yes.
We told the people that we were going to invest in more transit. And does this budget invest in more transit?
Yes.
And we told the people of Ontario that we were going to invest to build more houses. And
What
does
about
this budget
healthcare?
invest in more houses being built? And we told the people that we would do everything in our power to keep costs down. No new taxes, no new tolls, no new fees. And we have done that, Mr. Speaker. In fact,
What about healthcare?
action that together are saving the hard-working people of Ontario thousands of dollars each and every year.
Okay, but what about the frickin' gaps in healthcare? We need bolstered healthcare, like now.
Under the leadership of Premier Ford, this government scrapped the tolls on the 412 and 418 in Durham region, a move that will save drivers $68 million by 2027.
But how are you supposed to pay for the 412 and the 418 now? The light may be a train running at you. Yeah. Yeah, Ghost Dog,
Now, I'm told that some parties in this House supported the road tolls and voted against removing them. Well, Mr. Speaker, as someone who represents a Durham constituency myself, I have yet to find a driver in the community who shares the Liberal Party's enthusiasm for a more expensive community. And to that end, Mr. Speaker, here's what the Get It Done Act does. We're proposing to enshrine into law the freeze on Ontario driver's licenses and photo card fees.
Wait,
and we're
what?
finishing the job when it comes to scrapping the license plate sticker fee by automating the license plate renewal process. And these
Wait, so that would mean that if I needed my photo card renewed, I wouldn't have to pay the renewal fee? Or Pinkala wouldn't have to pay his driver's license renewal fee?
These measures will save the people of Ontario an additional $66 million over the next 5 years and hours of paperwork.
And what are we going to do with that $66 million?
And Mr. Speaker, I would be remiss if I did not point out one more thing the Get It Done Act would do.
It's called the Get It Done Act? It's literally called the Get It Done Act? Oh my God, okay.
If I did not point out one more thing, the Get It clear rule that will require all future governments, provincial governments, to seek the consent of the people before being allowed to burden people with the high cost of any kind of new provincial carbon tax.
Oh, interesting.
Now, Mr. Speaker, we are...
So a referendum on a tax. And a referendum on a carbon tax. Interesting. You know, they scrapped the renewal fees for license plates. They've scrapped tolls. Now they're scrapping renewals, period. Yeah, that's what it seems like.
The moment in which leaders from all levels of government, all parties, all across Canada, need to stand up against the federal carbon tax and the suffering it has caused. And when asked about the carbon tax, Premier Ford has always been very clear. He opposes it, full stop.
Yep.
It's a simple answer to a simple question. Everyone in this House should also aspire to answer that question just as clearly. Now, Mr. Speaker, it's time to return to the astonishing news about the federal carbon tax. In a few short days, on April 1st, in fact, the federal government is set to increase the carbon tax by 23%, with so many people already hanging on by a thread. It's astonishing, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, so what the fuck are you gonna, how are you gonna help Ontarians? First of all, what are you gonna do for, I don't know, it's Ontario's disabled population? I wonder if they're really going to start promoting their assisted sewer slide program. Reduce costs by reducing the population. I hope not.
The Bank of Canada has said the carbon tax is increasing inflation. And when factoring in both fiscal and economic impacts, the parliamentary
I don't think so.
Has said most Canadians will pay more in carbon taxes than they will see in rebates.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, while we need the federal government to pause or cancel their carbon tax increase, we will continue to do what we can to help people manage the impact. And that is why I'm so proud to announce that our government is proposing to extend our gas and fuel tax cuts until the end of 2024.
Oh, wow. So Ontario is proposing to suspend or to suspend the gas and fuel tax cuts? That is all nice and all, but doesn't these reduced fees make the government more poor? I don't know how he's going to have the government provide the government, or how the government's going to provide the things they lack while they have less money. That's what I'm trying to figure out. How does us not paying these taxes and these fees not help, like, how does that fund the government? Tolls are meant to hit drivers from out of the area. Give the drivers in the area a pass, hit the others with a toll. Our entire toll system is automated anyway, we don't have booths. That's true. I do wonder how not paying these fees is going to put money back into taxes.
Ontario drivers will continue to save over 5 cents per litre every time they fill their cars for the next 6 months. This will save Ontario households an average of $320 over the 2.5 years since the cuts were first implemented in July of 2022. You know, that's real money back in their pockets. We're
It's
also
not very much.
The 6.1% wine tax and maintaining the beer tax freeze for an additional 2 years. 1% wine tax back in their pockets. We're also eliminating the 6.1% wine tax and maintaining the beer tax freeze for an additional 2 years.
They're eliminating the wine tax? Shit! Sweet! What about the cannabis tax?
As well, Mr. Speaker, a freeze on college and university tuitions for at least 3 more years.
Okay.
And we're moving forward with auto insurance reforms that would provide more choice and flexibility to drivers in order to keep their premiums more affordable.
Good.
And Mr. Speaker, we are also stepping up supports for some of our most vulnerable by expanding the annual income eligibility threshold for the Ontario Guaranteed Annual Income System program for low-income seniors, and ensuring that the benefit is indexed to the rate of inflation.
Okay, what about ODSP? Okay, you've got low-income seniors covered. Woot, more drunk BP streams. Well, we need some Streamlabs donations for that. we need some tips to go into the jar for a drunk BP stream.
And this one move will result in about 100,000 more Ontarian seniors receiving support.
And what about disabled Ontarians? Disabled? Hello?
And of course, Mr. Speaker, we have given transit users the break they dearly needed by working with municipal partners to implement one fare.
Disabled people? Hello?
Now you only need to pay once when connecting from GO Transit, TTC, Brampton, Durham Region Transit, My Way, and York Region Transit. And Mr. Speaker, I have a pop quiz for you and the other members here. Do you know how much the average daily rider will save each year as a result of one fare?
$1,600.
This side gets an A. Daily rider will save each year as a result of one fare?
$1,600.
This side gets an A. Because this government believes that every commuter deserves a break. Whether you're driving your car or taking transit, our government is putting more money back into people.
I get my profit sharing bonus tomorrow. I'll see what I can do. Oh, famine.
Now, Mr. Speaker, making it cheaper to drive or take transit is just one part of the equation. We also need to make it more convenient.
Okay, why did you just talk about seniors, low-income seniors? Our most vulnerable, I guess disabled people don't fucking count.
So we are ready to build the roads, the bridges, the highways, the transit and other transportation infrastructure that our growing province badly needs. Today in Ontario, we are building those roads and bridges and highways across the province while
roads and bridges and highways, oh my!
Public transit to be found anywhere in North America. So it's time now, Mr. Speaker, to take you on a tour. So I invite you to break out that old Ontario map.
R.I.P.
And maybe stick some pins in the projects we're getting built. In Windsor.
Yay!
I haven't said anything yet. In Windsor, shovels are already in the ground to expand Highway 3, with planning well underway to build a new interchange connecting the 401 to the Lausanne Parkway.
Yay!
And we are now supporting a new interchange at Banwell Road and EC Road Expressway to support the Nexstar Energy EV battery plant.
Yay! EVs.
In Ottawa, we are designing a new interchange at Highway 416 and Barnsdale Road to support South Ottawa's growing population and jobs.
Oh boy, Barhaven gets an exit.
And here in the GTA, we are advancing Highway 413, which will finally provide much relief to the GTA, saving drivers 30 minutes on their commute and supporting 3,500 jobs each year. Mr. Speaker, as the Minister of Transportation can tell you, we all know how many people across Peel and particularly in Brampton need the 413. Families and businesses and community leaders are calling for this overdue relief in face of opposition from a handful of politicians and activists who live outside the region.
Well,
Mr.
yeah.
Speaker, we won't let them stop.
It's always people that live outside the region.
We will be there for the people of Brampton and Peel region. Let's get the 413 built.
Yay! The 413.
Mr. Speaker, we could say the same thing about York region, where we are going to build the Bradford bypass to give local drivers some badly needed relief. And let's move a little closer to the great city of Pickering, where we are planning to expand Highway 7 from 2 lanes
Pickering
to 4
is a great
lanes,
city?
from
Okay.
west of Reeser Road in Markham,
I didn't know that.
east to Brock Road to support the Pickering Innovation Corridor.
Meanwhile, here in Maryland, we just had a bridge collapse. Yep, you sure did. You sure did. Yep.
And finally getting the Highway 7 project widened between Kitchener and Guelph by advancing construction on the Frederick Street Bridge. Now, Mr. Speaker,
The Frederick Street Bridge is finally getting constructed. Okay.
That old map. And here's a sampling of the work underway. We're also adding high occupancy vehicle lanes to Highway 404 from the 407 to Major Mackenzie. In the Niagara region, we're moving forward with the QEW Garden City Skyway Bridge Twinning Project.
Yay!
We're replacing the Little Current Swing Bridge in northeastern Manitoulin and the Islands.
Holy shit!
And we're rehabilitating this section, the section of the 403 in Oxford and Brant counties. Mr. Speaker, we're fixing the bridges and culverts on Highway 28 in Renfrew.
Holy
in
fuck!
Northern Ontario, we are there's the member from Renfrew right there, folks.
They actually are doing a lot of shit.
We are reconstructing the provincial highways, such as the stretch of the 101 through Timmins.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Speaker, we're widening Highway 17 from Kenora to the Manitoba border. And we're widening Highway 11 and 17 between Thunder Bay and Nipigon and resurfacing the stretch between Coghlan Road and Highway 482.
Awesome. There's a lot of road work happening. What about fucking healthcare?
4 lanes from Parry Sound to Sudbury.
We have 27 minutes left in this thing. What about healthcare and disabled
For the
people?
Morrison bypass. We're rehabilitating the Bay of Quinte Skyway Bridge, and we're replacing bridges on Highway 417 in Eastern Ontario. And we're
Oh, good.
Highway 3 and Highway 4.
Some of those bridges are fucking...
Are we out of pins yet, Mr. Speaker? Because that's what getting it done looks like.
Okay, what about healthcare and disabled people?
Well, I hope the members opposite in this legislature are paying attention, Mr. Speaker. While some politicians don't believe in investing in roads and highways, we will not abandon every person in Ontario who's counting on us to deliver. That is why we are uploading the Gardner and DVP to make sure these critical highways will be maintained for people to get to work or get to home to be with their families. We will keep Ontario moving, and that includes transit. And we might as well get a few more pins ready for our map, Mr. Speaker. And let's start in Mississauga and Brampton.
Of course.
Where we have
because Toronto is where everything happens, right?
We're expanding the Hazel-McCallion Light Rail transit line, including a 2-kilometer extension and loop in Mississauga through to Confederation Parkway, as well as a extension to Brampton Highway. Mr. Speaker, this is the right time to make this investment in these fast-growing communities. And Mr. Speaker, we are proud to bring back 2 daily trips on the Milton Go line every single weekday, moving forward with our plan to provide 2-way all-day Go service to Milton. You know, what we need to deliver, Mr. Speaker, is a willing and true funding partner in the federal government. This is one of the fastest growing projects.
That's not going to happen.
And we are going to ensure your transit service grows right along with it. We're also well underway on no fewer than 4 priority subway projects in the GTA,
including of course.
The Ontario line,
because
the Scarborough Subway East Extension,
focus so much on the GTA. Why do we have to focus all on the GTA? Do you realize there's way more in Ontario than that?
America, and we are not slowing down. We're investing in GO expansions in Kitchener, from Oshawa to Bowmanville and Niagara, making new investments in GO stations in Bramalea, Aurora, and Stouffville.
Yay!
All part of one seamless transit network. All part of one seamless transit network, one fare, more communities served, more comprehensive service. Mr. Speaker, the GTA deserves better transit. Let's get it done.
That's going to be their slogan. Let's get it done. That's the Ontario Conservatives slogan. Let's get it done. Some asshat tried to tell me once that without the GTA we wouldn't have a manufacturing sector. Like, bitch, do you realize that 90% of the towns outside of Toronto are manufacturing? Right? Jesus Christ.
Now, Mr. Speaker, we need to move fast because Ontario is growing fast. Ontario's population is expected to grow by over 5 million people over the next 20 years.
Fuck.
Mr. Speaker, these people need homes. And to date, our government has taken action to remove the provincial portion of the HST from new purpose-built rentals.
Okay.
We're also supercharging municipal efforts to get housing built through the Building Faster Fund. And we announced a $1.2
Building faster. Shouldn't it be building better? Why do you want them to be built fast? Fast doesn't always mean well built. Seriously, come on.
Provide funding to municipalities who have reached at least 80% of their annual target for new home construction. Milton is a great example of how that fund is encouraging housing construction. In fact, Milton, they did not just meet their housing construction target, Mr. Speaker, they exceeded it with over 1,900 new housing starts, a full 27% above their target.
Yay, Milton.
Mr. Speaker, they are doing their part and we are doing ours, which is why we are proud to invest an additional $8.4 million in Milton through the fund. And to date, municipalities ranging from Toronto, Hamilton, Brampton, Guelph, Caledon, North Bay, Sarnia, St. Catharines, and more have all received Building Faster Fund checks. And in my own riding, Pickering has received $5.2 million for surpassing their housing targets.
But yet, meanwhile, the federal government is claiming that Ontario has not met its housing target. Meanwhile, look at all these cities that have just met their housing targets and are getting funding for meeting their housing targets. Seriously? The province stops at the escarpment. Milton, Toronto. The province, yeah, it seems, yep.
But we didn't stop there, Mr. Speaker. In January, the Premier told the Association of Municipalities of Ontario that we would be expanding the eligibility for the fund to include housing-enabling infrastructure. And in the 2024 budget, we are taking the next steps by investing over $1.8 billion for housing-enabling municipal infrastructure.
That is a lot of money.
It starts with waste and wastewater, which is why we are increasing our investment in the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund. In fact, we are more than quadrupling it to $850.
Did he say quintrupling?
Systems Fund. In fact, we are more than quadrupling it.
He did. He just said quintrupling. Is that a word? Is quintrupling a word? Did the Finance Minister of Ontario just make up a new word?
To $825 million. And this funding will unlock more housing opportunities by helping municipalities repair, rehabilitate, and expand water and wastewater infrastructure. And, Mr. Speaker, this is vital to getting more homes built faster. We will also be providing municipalities with improved flexibility on financing for housing enabling water and wastewater projects under the Infrastructure Ontario Loan Program. And, Mr. Speaker, we are also investing $1 billion in a new housing infrastructure program that municipalities can access to build housing enabling infrastructure. This includes water projects, but it also can include transportation projects like roads and bridges. $1.8 billion, Mr. Speaker, in total.
I'd like to hear about health care.
We are asking our municipal partners, will your project get more people in new homes faster? And if they can demonstrate that the answer is yes, we are saying, well, we want to help. Our government is saying yes to building more housing-enabling infrastructure, so this complements the $1.2 billion that was announced in the Building Faster Fund to enable faster home construction right across the province.
Are you sure it's right across the province?
We're doing our part, and we need the federal government to do the same. To date, housing-enabling infrastructure has been a gap in federal housing programs.
No shit.
We're prepared to work with the federal government to correct this and get it done.
Yeah, but the federal government's not prepared to work with you.
We're doing it. Let's work together. Let's get things built. People are counting on us. Let's get it done.
Health care and disability. What about those two?
Mr. Speaker, I want to highlight that our government's commitment is getting things built is more than just about housing. That is why, as part of our 2024 budget, we are also investing $200 million in a new applications-based community sport and recreation infrastructure fund.
What does that mean?
This will support new and improved sport, recreation, and community facilities right across Ontario. Because our goal
for $200 million, you're only going to be able to build 10 facilities if you want them to be good.
Homes, new homes, and critical infrastructure. They need sports and recreation centers too. They need rinks and gyms and arenas right across this province. These facilities are often the center of entire communities where families get together, particularly in rural Ontario.
Yep.
They are key outlets for improving
physical
and mental health.
They just torpedoed all the family memberships for the community center in our small town. Faster Fund, we isn't that good with naming, is he? No, not really. Not really very original.
Seniors. They are centers of local sports and community scenes, and they help bring the entire community together in civil life. And to continue our commitment to get things built, we are launching the Infrastructure Bank, the Building Ontario Fund, with an initial $3 billion that is ready to invest and ready to build. Mr. Speaker, we're getting it done.
Where's all this money coming from?
And this brings me to one of the biggest investments we continue to make
Healthcare?
in our health care system.
Thank you.
That is why, as our plan to build, we are investing an additional 4% on average this year in our public hospitals, including investments that will maximize and expand our surgical system in order to keep bringing down those surgery wait times.
No shit. Years for surgery is not okay.
And our government knows that connected and convenient health care goes beyond our hospitals.
The liner replacement for our community center is like $2 million every 3 years. Or every 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Not the French, I bet.
Which is why we are investing an additional $2 billion over 3 years in home and community care.
Okay. Does that mean like more walk-in clinics?
And this commitment extends to the long-term care system. We all know that building long-term care homes reduces pressures on our hospitals. That's why we are investing $155 million next year to increase the construction funding subsidy to support the cost of developing or redeveloping a long-term care home. We need this investment in long-term care, and we need to continue using this funding specifically to fast-track construction so that we can get shovels in the ground.
Speaking of long-term care, how about your disabled population, sir?
But, Mr. Speaker, as I think every member of this House knows, healthcare is about more than buildings. It is about the people. And here there's always more work to do, but we are acting with urgency to get the right people in the right places to make the biggest differences for patients. Earlier this year, our government announced an investment of $110 million in primary health care. Today, we are increasing this new investment, bringing the total to $546 million over 3 years, starting next year, to connect 600,000 people to care through new and expanded interprofessional primary care teams.
So a small city worth of people are going to get new doctors. Good. Yay.
No, Mr. Speaker, we expanded the Learn and Stay program.
I think it's their way of saying we're going to hire all the nurses back. Yeah.
Communities as well, in the north, in the east, and of course the
Probably.
southwest. We're investing $45 million over 3 years to enhance the Northern Health Travel Grant Program to mitigate the financial burden of medical-related travel for people in northern communities, as well as investing $50 million for northern and rural communities to recruit and retain healthcare workers.
That would be nice.
For women and children, we are investing $15 million for mobile maternal care in remote communities, $24 million to increase access to the Indigenous Healthy Babies, Healthy Children program.
That's a good thing.
And Mr. Speaker, I'm very pleased to announce the first new medical school in Canada that is focused on training family doctors with York University.
Holy shit, finally! A medical school focused on training family doctors? I'll take that. What about the fucking disabled people, though? And just
Mr. Speaker, we have been there for our frontline workers, and that includes our nurses.
Just increase the disability benefit by fucking at least 5%. It's a 5% increase, even a 10% increase.
At public assisted colleges and universities by 2,000 registered nurse seats and 1,000 registered practical nurse seats. You know, and Mr. Speaker, as we have since day one, our government will continue to invest in more supports for people with mental health and addiction issues. Almost $400 million more over 3 years. This includes $124 million to support continuation of the Addictions Recovery Fund that will maintain 383 addiction treatment beds for adults who need intensive support, and help 7,000 people per year.
Okay, that's a good program. We're getting closer to disabled people.
We'll move next to education, Mr. Speaker.
Okay,
Our
or
government
not.
is continuing to build, including nearly 300 school-related projects, including childcare, of which there are 100
See you
or
later,
more
famine.
currently under construction, and making sure our students have the fundamental skills they need to succeed in work and life. Starting in September 2025, we'll introduce a new kindergarten curriculum that will include clear and direct instruction in reading, writing, and
Good.
math.
Good. Good. Because it's all playing in kindergarten, and then they show up in grade 1, and it's like, okay, everybody should know sight words now.
We are also investing $15 million for new digital math tools to help all students succeed. And our
What are
vision for
new digital
education
math
includes
tools?
everybody, which is why we're investing $18 million in new special education funding to help those kids who need help the most. And Mr. Speaker, we're increasing our investment in the Ontario Autism Program by $120 million, double what was provided last year to help
There you go.
20,000 children and youth under critical service.
That's awesome. The only thing I'm upset about is that I haven't heard anything about disabled people yet.
In the post-secondary system, Mr. Speaker, our government understands the importance of financial stability.
They just did increase the disability check. How much was your check and how much was it? No, I mean, the government needs to increase the entire thing.
For institution to ensure continued high-quality education experiences for students. That is why our government, in addition to freezing tuition, is stepping up to the plate with a $903 million post-secondary education sustainability fund, along with an additional $10 million for small northern and rural colleges.
Post-secondary sustainability fund. What does that mean? Is that like OSAP?
And now we expect universities and colleges to do their part. That is why we introduced legislation that will require colleges and universities to provide students and parents with clear information about all ancillary fees and other student costs, such as textbooks. Earlier this year, we also announced a $16.5 million into the Black Youth Action Plan's Economic Empowerment Stream, which is supporting better outcomes for over 60,000 Black children.
Yes, because we need that.
You know, Mr. Speaker, our 2024 budget also makes some urgent investments to help law enforcement protect our communities from crime. Mr. Speaker, parts of Ontario, and in particular the GTA, are in the grips of unacceptable spike in auto thefts. And just as the organized crime rings behind auto thefts are becoming increasingly sophisticated, so too must we. The federal government, the RCMP, the municipal police services all also have a role to play. But our message to the Government of Canada is that we are at the table and prepared to do our part.
Yeah, except the Government of Canada isn't going to do its part, and they don't care that you want to do your part.
In particular, our police are asking for more tools, and we're going to be there for them. In the 2024 budget, our government is providing $49 million in supports to help police services across Ontario crack down on auto theft.
$50 million across the entire province?
We're also going to be investing $46 million over 3 years to launch a new air support program, which will include purchasing 4 new helicopters to help our police services in the Greater Toronto Area increase patrols
of course.
Improve response times to major incidents.
Of course Toronto gets all the fucking helicopters. Of course. the Toronto police get all 4 helicopters. Fuck's sakes.
You know, Mr. Speaker, these helicopters will help police crack down.
London doesn't get one. Ottawa doesn't get one. No, they all go to Toronto.
Impaired driving.
Of course.
While assisting in apprehending violent criminals and locating missing persons. Our budget will also invest $30 million to provide new protective equipment to fire departments in rural Ontario communities. We have always had the backs of our first responders who have ours. And Mr. Speaker, our government is also not shying away from investing to protect the most vulnerable among us. We're investing $27 million over 3 years to enhance services for individuals impacted by sexual assault and domestic violence, and $6.4 million over 3 years to provide legal support for survivors of sexual assault, children who are victims or witnesses of crime.
Okay. I'm not opposed to that.
And Mr. Speaker, we are able to make all of these investments precisely because we are rebuilding Ontario's economy in every sector, in every region of this great province. Mr. Speaker, for 2 decades, the manufacturing sector was negatively impacted by the rising cost of doing business in Ontario, and market share was lost. Mr. Speaker, by 2018, Ontario had lost over 300,000 manufacturing jobs from the sector's peak in 2004.
I can hear police sirens in the background.
But no more, Mr. Speaker. Ontario has turned the page and is ready for the jobs.
As a British person, can someone explain what's happening? This is the reading of the provincial budget for my province of Ontario. This is in the Provincial House of Commons, and our finance minister is reading out his budget to the entire chamber of both the Conservative Party, which is the governing party, the Liberal Party, which is the opposition, and the New Democrats. So that is what's happening. If you're not French, does Canada even consider you human? Actually, yes. It's the other way around. It's just that we gave the French people all these stupid things so they would just shut up.
Future. Better jobs with bigger paychecks. And we have supported long-term targeted and strategic investments in Ontario manufacturing, including Volkswagen's $7 billion investment in St. Thomas that will create 3,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs.
There's going to be a Volkswagen manufacturer in St. Thomas?
Including the $5 billion Nexstar Energy investment in Windsor that will employ 2,500
Oh yeah, the
EV
battery.
And the Umicore investment in Loyalist Township that will create 600 direct new jobs as part of a $2.7 billion investment.
Oh, Loyalist is even getting something cool.
You know, Mr. Speaker, everybody loves a comeback story. Ontario is one of the heavyweight champions of auto manufacturing.
Yep.
And under the previous government, we took a fall and lost the title. But now we're coming back, Mr. Speaker, and we're investing to become better than ever. Mr. Speaker, Ontario is back. And the budget 2024 builds on that track record. This includes our continued commitment to unlocking the wealth of critical minerals in the north.
Oh,
and
good,
working
mining.
with our First Nation partners in Northern Ontario to build the road to the Ring of Fire, which is helping bring prosperity to these northern communities. And so we are pleased to announce an additional $15 million over 3 years to support the Critical Minerals Innovation Fund. We're also allocating 100.
So is this a bad guy? No. He is, I would say this budget is pretty good. Of course, we did, like, the disability program did just receive a top up last year, but I think in order to help with inflation, it should get a bit more of a top up. But I think this budget is pretty good. A lot of people like to say that conservatives don't care about social programs, but this actually just completely blows that out of the water, because this is a budget from a conservative government, and we've seen quite a lot of investments in building, we've seen a lot of investments in healthcare, we've seen a lot of investments in education. So I think this is a pretty good balanced budget.
Million more to the Invest Ontario Fund, bringing the total to $600 million to help attract new investments and jobs. Mr. Speaker, the 2024 budget is a continuation of a plan that is working and working well. If you want to put people to work in Ontario, then Ontario wants to work with you. It also shows that when we have the courage to compete, bet on Ontario, we will be successful. And let's talk about those workers, Mr. Speaker. They are the backbone of Ontario's manufacturing renaissance. When it comes to having a skilled workforce, I would put the Ontario worker up against anybody else in Canada, anybody else in North America, and for that matter, anybody else around the world. Ontario's workers are central to Ontario's plan to build. They have stepped up for Ontario, and we're stepping up for them. With each passing day, it also becomes more and more clear many of the best jobs of the future will be jobs in the skilled trades. Demand for the skilled trades continues to grow.
Skilled trades are
Since
where
our
it's at.
government launched the Skills Development Fund training stream in 2021, we have trained more than 500,000, that's 500,000 workers in the skilled trades and healthcare through nearly 600 training projects.
You don't know about Canadian regional politics, it's really interesting to have it explained. This is why I do this, because there aren't that many Canadian YouTubers that really cover any kind of Canadian politics, let alone their province's politics or anything. And the federal parliament is not in session right now for the Easter break, so I figured I would cover this.
And in the 2024 budget, we are taking this program that is working and investing an additional $100 million to help job seekers advance their careers. We're also continuing to encourage more young people to choose well-paying, rewarding careers in the skilled trades. Simply put, it's a career to be proud of. And that's why we're investing $16.5
I will always,
million over the next 3
either
years
of my boys want to go into a skilled trade, I will always support
attract more
that.
young people into skilled trades and encourage employer participation in apprenticeships. We are investing almost $22
There is
million
nothing wrong
to
with being in a
expand the
skilled trade.
Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program and almost $42 million to launch 100 new training projects.
Awesome.
Mr. Speaker, whether it is workers, patients, or small businesses, drivers frozen in gridlock, or young families frozen out of the housing market, our government is making our position clear. We are not stepping back from the investments that matter, nor are we going to increase the burden on you. By making these investments now, we can support our growing province. We have a plan. It's a plan to rebuild Ontario's economy, and it's a plan that is working. It's a plan designed to weather adversity and continue investing and keep Ontario pointed towards better and brighter days ahead. Nous avons un plan. C'est un plan pour rebâtir.
Wow, his French isn't bad, actually.
Ontario's economy, and it's a plan that is working. It is a plan
His French is pretty good for a Pickering boy.
Investing and keep
That's
Ontario
impressive.
pointed towards better and brighter days.
And as I've said in the beginning, Mr. Speaker,
That's really good. Skilled trades are really needed, especially in the near future. Yep.
My father came to Canada with a dream, and we are making that vision a reality. We will make Ontario the best place to live, to work, and raise a family. A place where you can get a better job and a bigger paycheck. A place where you can feel safe and secure in your community. A better Ontario. And we've made our choice. We're choosing to say yes. We're choosing to get it done. We're choosing to be there for the people of Ontario. And I invite all members of the legislature to join us and send a message throughout Ontario, throughout Canada, and around the world that right here in Ontario, we're ready to build. Thank you.
That was a good budget. That was a good budget, and the finance minister's not a bad speaker, I have to say. I would have liked to see a slight increase in the disability benefit, like for all disabled Ontarians, just to reflect the carbon tax increase and the inflation increase. But the healthcare, in particular, the healthcare investments are really important. The construction projects are really important. And I'm overall, this feels like a pretty balanced budget, and a pretty, like, they understand that there are going to be deficits for right now, but they also understand that you kind of have to spend money to make money. That's what they're basically saying at this point. You have to spend money to make money. And so they're willing to invest in Ontario. Now this is kind of what I'm looking at when I predict a federal Conservative budget. I don't see hack and slash austerity measures coming in. I see removal of not necessary taxes, and I see like investment in strategic investment. That's what I see in a future Conservative budget. Yeah, this is regional. They ask for more tools, you give them more politicians. Yeah, that works. This is the equivalent of New York coming out and presenting their state budget. Yeah, this is... Because Britain doesn't have provinces, they have counties. So it would be like your county's budget. Basically. This was like... It was basically like that. It's regional, like more regional than federal. So, but yeah. The rest of this is how politics are conducted at the provincial level. So every province has a House of Commons, and every province has 3 parties that have the potential to be in charge. Conservatives, Liberals, and New Democrats. And it's the same at the federal level. There is a House of Commons and a federal parliament. We actually borrow quite heavily from British law and British politics in the way that we conduct our politics. We have a first past the post party system that's similar to the way Britain does. We conduct our parliament quite similar to the way the UK does, with speakers of the House and... You don't even know if your budget has a county, your county has a budget. Oh. So yeah, this is, so every province in Canada operates like that, and the federal parliament operates like that as well. You address the Speaker of the House to do your business. I cover question period at the federal level quite often when it's in session, and I will be resuming that on the 9th of April when they come back. But that basically... Oh, your county's budget is 1.77 billion British pounds. Oh, shit. So that will bring us to the end of our coffee stream today. I hope that was interesting and provided you guys a look into Ontario's politics. And I think I'm going to try multi-streaming the Combat Hour tonight. I think just to see what it does, I'm going to try multi-streaming the Combat Hour. So that will be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
So we have 3 levels of government. We have to be miscible, which would be the equivalent of your county government. Then we have provincial, which is like a state government. Then we have the federal. But
yeah. We have, what Pink Hollow said. We've got 3 levels of government. We've got municipal, which would be like your county. We've got state, provincial, and then, which is provincial, and then we've got federal. You don't even get the maximum amount on ODSP. Yeah, neither do I. But, yeah, please come by for the Combat Hour tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I will be there on both Twitch and YouTube. So make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss anything. I will be back tonight. I hope you enjoyed the coffee stream, and I'll be back later on. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. See you later. Thanks for watching.